അങ്ങനെ
Okay, students, so we can start the class for today. So now if you observe students, the analytical skills are really poor. You have just written the answers without the end, without the body, without the conclusion. So it's not good here. So one thing, students, I just wanted to say now, we are doing mostly case study classes. So I prefer if one or two can do some moderation. I prefer like if one or two can take the responsibility of moderating the class. That means asking questions while I'm doing this, because then you will get some understanding. Okay. So students, I think in our class, Delhi has written a good answer. So you can go through that. So if you observe here, students, mock 3 actually, it's the mock number 3 we did this week. Okay. So here they are asking, Mary Chilima has sent you the following mail. We have got a proposal to start our own retail store in the Zedland domestic airport. So students, it's an airport. So one thing you need to understand is it should be specially in one section called duty free. I think majority of you all has not considered that thought, because in the airport, if you are going to have a toy store, it is going to be near the duty free section. Okay, a neighboring country. As per the proposal, our store will be in the duty-free area. Further, we have to pay initial deposits and annual rent. This is the first time we are going to serve the end consumer. We are going to serve the end consumer first time directly, because students previously did we distribute our products directly to the consumer? No. So this is the first time we are going to take it to our consumer. So students, my only question here is, if you are going to do this for the first time, there needs to be proper training and compliances, because compliances is very, very important, so that students, you will not make any mistakes when you are doing the trade. As per the contract, the domestic airlines has stated that they will be converting the airport into an international service in 6 months. So they are telling it's a 6 months. So one thing I can say here is, students, in the 6 months time means, I can say here there is an uncertainty, because 6 months there is an uncertainty. So you can use this also. They are forecasting the annual growth of 50% consumers per year. 50% consumer per year is the annual growth. So one thing, students, we need to understand the location before we go into this, because if they are saying 50% growth, it should be in a, mostly I can say, a metropolitan area. Okay. So you need to understand that whether they have that. The marketing department has used WAC of GSC, and the projects have performed an investment appraisal which is resulting in a positive NPV. So they have given everything in the reference material. One, students, it is specifically mentioned, and in the system you need to double click this reference material, then you will be able to go through the reference material which is in the next page. So please be kind enough to respond on the following. Firstly, explain whether the assumptions that are made in the calculations are commercially sensible for Prybloxx. So this answer, no one has read it properly. Assumption are commercially sensible. So please avoid technical observation. So majority of y'all are just writing the technical observation, I can say, which is completely a wrong element. Here you should check whether the assumption is okay to Prybloxx in commercial sense. So I can just write down in the answer section, students. So I'll start writing the answer section. So I told you in the last class, whenever you are doing this examination, read the requirement and construct the main heading, students. So the first heading I can say is commercial consideration of the assumptions in project appraisal, in project appraisal to Prybloxx, in project appraisal to Prybloxx. So students, this is the first heading you need to consider. And here they are specifically saying, I think the marks is not given. So if they are not giving the marks, students, I can specially say, you need to make an assumption. So I am making an assumption. So generally they will give it, but I'm telling you, you should make an assumption because it's a bigger quantity. So I can say it's a 15%. So 15% of this, I think that will give you in a 25 marks question, 15%, I think that will be somewhere around. So this is 10%. Sorry, not 15, sorry. I can say this is going to be 60%, let's assume, and this is going to be 40%. So 40% is 10 marks. Let's assume this is 10 marks and 60% is obviously 15 marks. This is an assumption, students. Now, you should never wait for perfect questions coming in the exams also. You should be able to make your own judgments and do that. So that is one thing that you need to improve here. So this is the first thing that I am saying here. So I think students, this makes very clear that you need to go through the assumptions what they have given and the calculation, but don't go too much in the detail of what is project appraisal, everything. You are not scoring any marks. And then they are saying, secondly, explain whether the suitability of the WAC is appropriate. Now, again, they are asking suitability of the WAC is appropriate. They are not asking you to give technical jargons on what is WAC. Now, generally, students have written technical jargons on what is WAC, but here explain whether the suitability of WAC and can you suggest an alternative. So they're asking the suitability and alternative. So I can just make it into two headings. So I can just subdivide it, students. I can write down here suitability of the WAC, suitability of the WAC, suitability of the WAC, and the other one is alternative considerations. Now that itself is a trick here, students, because it's a hack, alternative consideration, because if they have mentioned alternative consideration, that means this WAC is incorrect. So I think that could have been used as a thinking element, because some students are saying the WAC is correct. So the students who has mentioned the WAC is correct, be very careful, students, that the suitability and alternative consideration they have just indirectly said. So that means, students, the current one is not suitable. So students, before I move into the writing points, I'll just do the ideal standards. So this should have 7 points or 7 headings, I can say. Okay, and this will have 5 headings or 5 points, I can say. So students, any questions you have, you can ask me before I go into the application. So this is the basic style. Please communicate, students. I think it's better if we can communicate in this class. You are paying money for learning here, not to just listen. If you want to just listen, you can just go through YouTube channel. So this is a class where we have paid money to learn here. Don't just come and listen and go. Anyone, students, can you communicate, please? How can we put technical application to the question? It's not required, right? Did they ask you any technical element here? It's not required. So why are you thinking about technical? They are not asking for that, right? How many times I'm saying, look at the requirement. What they are asking in the requirement, write for that. Don't write technical answers for everything, whatever you are writing. A technical sentence is fine, but the entire answer is technical. For this, you won't score any marks. What is duty free? You must check it from Google, Chaudhary, because if you don't know duty free, you are not matured enough to become a commerce student. Duty free is not a question, students. Everyone should know duty free. I didn't understand the question. I use technical knowledge. Now, if you see here, is suitability of WAC is appropriate. You all are writing about WAC. They are not asking what is WAC. They are asking the current suitability of this WAC. So don't waste your time on writing all the book knowledge of WAC. That is what I'm saying. Technical theory knowledge, don't spend a lot of time. Okay, students, any questions you can ask me, because I know duty free, but what to apply in the case? That I will explain during the class, but you need to have common sense. Okay, students, can I get a moderator if possible for this class? Mervin or Manogaran, you are a teacher. Why don't you communicate, Manogaran? You are a teacher, right, Manogaran? I find it very hard to do the communication.
Uh,
Yes, Vishnu.
Sir, I think I have the difficulty to analysis this Prybloxx to
Okay,
the question. So, sir, please suggest how we like deep analysis for
I'm
this
going to do
point.
that. I'm going to do that. That's a problem of academic learning, Vishnu, because in academic classes they don't teach you how to analyze. They only
Okay,
teach you the models only. So,
okay.
students, can anyone take the moderation with a good background noise, please? Students, I'm waiting for 1 minute. Can someone take the moderation, or the class will not be correctly going on? Students, please don't wait to call your names. You are going to do a CGMA course, and later these people who are not getting jobs are the people who don't talk. Students, please unmute and talk. I'm unable to extend the sentence without inputting. That's fine, but don't write everything technical. I'm not saying you to write purely business. Don't write the entire thing technical. One sentence is enough. Don't go to 5 6 paragraphs or 3 2 paragraphs. Students, can someone take the moderation, please? Ishwar, can you take the moderation if you have a good thing? Ishwar, students, little be matured here. I'm wasting your time. Please, can someone take the moderation, please? Your mic is not working.
Sir, can I?
Yes, okay. I think Manogaran, you're not communicating. Not good, Manogaran. You're a teacher here. Please support the other teacher also. I feel not good from your aspect. You're not communicating. You're not doing anything from your side. Okay. So coming here, students, when you observe this, what do you feel? Because this class needs to be communicated. I can't just do and go. You won't learn anything at the end. Now you need to go through this. Students, can you go through this? What do you observe from this?
So it's an NPV calculation.
Other than that, you are not thinking like a finance manager. No, anyone will know it's an NPV calculation. I'm asking the observer. It's not a PNL. It's not a profit and loss account. It's not a profit and loss account. It's an NPV calculation, but I am asking you, what are the observations you are making? It is too short term and long term investment. Sorry, sir. Okay. Students, please communicate. Please communicate. Rent and wages does not take into inflation. Okay. Any other factors, students, you can consider here? Projection for the next 3 years? No.
Time value is considered.
No. You are not understanding. Okay. Now, students, now this class, now I need to make a special announcement. Now, CGMA is a international qualification. You would have done many qualification previously, but don't take CGMA for granted. They will easily give you pass, nothing like that. Here, you should not give answers like what you are communicating to me now. Think like an Harvard MBA students. In a Harvard MBA, they will not do like these easy things and give you a graduation. Now, the first thing what I can say here is, if you observe in this, no, no, no one is thinking, students. Now if you see, Ashish, what is the currency given here?
Z dollar.
What is our local currency?
V dollar.
Why didn't you mention anything related to exchange rate differences? Ashish, can you communicate?
Yes, sir. I didn't see that.
Then you can't say that in the office, right? Let's assume you are reporting to Mayor Chilima. Let's assume I am Mayor Chilima. You are not even doing this. Are you suitable to be a finance manager? Can I ask you that question? No, I will be very frank. If you had worked in the organization, corporate students who has worked in the organization will know the hot stove rule. If you are not performing very well, they will be direct to you. I'm hereafter, I'm not a teacher here. I'm like Mary Chilima. See me like the Mary Chilima here. So I'm asking, is this a correct analysis or wrong analysis for our company?
So it's a correct analysis that we have to see that first what currency they are using.
It's a wrong analysis. How you are saying correct analysis?
Sir,
Because this
Z
analysis
dollar,
itself
no?
is our currency is V dollar, right? So
Yes,
how can
so
we
we
make
have to convert it,
judgment?
no?
But that's not converted here, no. That's what I'm asking from you, no. That's what they're asking. That's the question here, no. Explain whether assumptions are correct or not correct. So the first assumption itself is wrong, right? Currency itself is in a different country, currency.
Okay, sir, I got that. Okay.
Students, now IQ, your intelligence is very important here, students. Just because you have cleared, don't think you will pass this. Now here, presence of mind, again I'm repeating, presence of mind. So Z dollar is given, but not a single one in our class has mentioned about Z dollar. So I am just asking from you, how can you make a decision? This 287 may be positive in Z dollars, but when you consider in your own currency, can that end up in a negative possibility there or not there, students? I'm asking you that basic
Yes, sir.
question. That is there, right? But why no answers like that, students? And frankly speaking, students, I gave you marks this time just to encourage you, but you did not score that marks also. I need to be frank, because when you observe the analysis what I'm doing here, you observe it properly. Look at the way I'm doing, students. The dollar itself is a bigger thing, the terminal itself wrong. So you can't make a correct decision using the assumption. And who made this, students? This investment appraisal was made by whom, students? Who has made this investment appraisal? Who has?
Marketing manager.
Marketing department. Marketing department. So marketing department in SEMA code of ethics, I can connect it something called professional what, students? Competence. Now, does the marketing guys has excess competence in the financial segment? I'm asking from you, Ashish. Yes
No,
or
sir.
no? No.
No,
So
sir.
why don't you all mention that? Because that should be a good conclusion point, students. Because I am not blaming the marketing department. They have done a good job. But the thing here is, Ashish, completely this is diverting our decision making power. Now, you know a country called Zimbabwe by any chance, Ashish? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Zimbabwe, if you do an investment appraisal, the answers will be very, very high. Big numbers you will get. Correct or not correct, Ashish? It will be in million
Yes,
billion.
sir.
But when you convert it into INR or USD, it will be extremely less. What do you think? Yes or no? So
Yes,
in the
sir.
Zimbabwe currency, you are getting a bigger amount. Can you say Zimbabwe project is a profitable project?
No, we cannot say.
Then why don't you do that analysis in your answer? Are you clear now what the examiner wants from you here? He doesn't
Yes, sir.
want
Clear.
you mugging up. Now, whatever I teach in the class also won't come. You just focus on the style. So I want to ask Vishnu. Vishnu, did you get the mistake what you made on your analysis, Vishnu?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nice.
Please make a note of this, students, because this is not a easy paper, students. This is very, very practical. Very, very practical, like working in office. I missed the basic points. Everyone missed the basic points. And Nelly and Delhi, are you there by any chance? Nelly and Delhi, by any chance, are you there? Can you just make a note of this, Nelly and Delhi, because you have completely ignored this. It's a huge blunder, students. It's a huge blunder. Because don't misunderstand me, I am strict here because now you are a management finance manager. I am your boss here, so you should be very careful. So can I write here the first point I observed is exchange rate? What do you think? Can I just develop a heading as exchange rate? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Ashish, I'm not going through, I know how to build the sentence. So can I just write down a sentence so that it will be very clear for you all? So I can say
Yes, sir.
the project, the project appraisal. Now, students who has not passed The management case study should understood you, not your weakness. Small mistake you would have made in the exam, everything gone. The project appraisal has been done in what currency? Z dollars,
Z dollar.
which has not been translated to V dollars. Agree? No? And
Yes, sir.
we are not aware about about the price fluctuation. Are you getting what I'm saying here? Of
Yes, sir.
Z dollar to V dollar, Z dollar to V dollar. Clear with this, Ashish? Yes or no? Z dollar to V dollar.
Yes,
We
sir.
are not getting any idea. Now I should not fight with the marketing department. It's less professional. Therefore, it will be better if the workings can be revised to what? Revised to what? V
V dollar.
dollars. V dollars, so that we can make proper judgments. Proper judgments. Proper judgments. Are you clear now with this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So I can generally give one more sentence just to support, just to be little practical if required. So I'm being very friendly with my other colleague. If required, okay, the finance team can assist the marketing team with the exchange rate information. Professional or not professional? What do you think here?
Yes, sir. It's professional.
I did not scold them. I did not say it's a mistake also they did. But look at the way how I communicated them. It will be better. You get what I'm saying? Now, students, this writing skill is very important. This writing skill is very important because students, it will be better. Are you getting what I'm saying? It will be better. Now, if you say they have ignored, they are very less competent, then it's not good. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Correct. Now,
Yes,
if you
sir.
see 4 years exchange rate, we can get it right from the arbitrage profit calculation. So we have not considered fluctuation rate over the 4 years. That we can get it. That we can get it. But the factorizing here is the exchange rate differences. So any questions here? Is that fine, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the next thing is, if you observe uh, here, when you see the year, what do you observe? What do you see? One mistake they have done in the year. Now, this currency itself is a mistake. In the year also there is a mistake. The mistake is going concern. Now here the going concern is for how many years? The going concern is for how many years, if I'm not mistaken? 3
Three
years, right?
years.
But actually, a good business, will that have a going concern of 3 years or more than 3 years? It should
More
be
than
more than 3 years, right? Or there needs to be some assumption or some notes after 3 years what they are going to do. What do you think, Ashish? Yes or no?
yes, sir.
So can I write down the next assumption that the marketing team should include is going concern? Now, students, you are aware that nowadays everything is becoming computerized. Okay. So in future, in your desk, you will get these calculations. You should be able to give them what to do with this calculation. Okay, I am coming to the going concern. So in the going concern, students, I am going to mention here, I can say the company should the company should be able to understand the contingency plans after third year. Example, what will happen on the second rental arrangement. Therefore, scenario planning can be requested, where the company can explain the decision, and also they can present it in the form of decision tree. In the form of what, students? A decision
Decision
tree.
tree.
Decision tree. Now students, again, see, I'm always telling technical, don't explain what is decision tree, don't explain. Do you see I am making this like a language? You get what I'm saying here, Ashish? I am not
Yes, sir.
dragging this into a theory paper. I'm making it in a communication business style. So students, that is also a missing, because 3 years is not sufficient, we need more than that. So coming back to the next one, can we come to the next one? Yes or no, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
Sales. Now, if you see sales, 1,600, 1,680, 1,764. And now if you observe in the second one, if you see the note number 2, sales revenue is based on the prices made to the retailers. We generally give them a discount of how many percent? 20%. Now, here the common sense works. Now, do you know there is a theory called transfer pricing? Anyone? That is
Yes,
the
sir.
transactions between the companies, yes or no? Transactions between the companies, that is known as
Yes, sir.
transfer pricing. Okay, now students, if you observe here, this retail outlet belongs to whom? Ashish, who owns this retail outlet?
Zealand.
Wrong. Our company Prybloxx owns it. Our company is a retail outlet, right? It's not
Yeah,
belonging
yeah, sir. Okay.
to retail, it's our company retail outlet. So students, just keep in mind, this retail outlet is belonging to us. So do we need to give a discount, or you can sell it little less, because you have the pure control of this? 100% control of your own shop you have. So do you need to give them the discount? That is my question mark.
No, sir.
Example,
We
if you see
can.
Amazon Prime, and Amazon has the pure control of Amazon Prime, 100%. So Amazon can give it less than Netflix. Why? Because they have power. You get what I'm saying? But you can't say a third party retailer to distribute at a lower price. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So students, now that assumption is a pure considered assumption. So it's a direct benchmarking. So I'm not happy with this price 1,600, because one question I have, students, airport duty free. Airport duty free. Duty free means what? Tax free. Tax free. Duty free means tax free. Now example, students, if you observe these chocolates when you are buying from the duty free, you get more quantity at a reasonable price comparatively from the shops. So here, if you see, in the airport itself, the price is very high. People will always prefer to buy it from outside the airport. What do you think, Ashish? Yes or no?
Yes,
Because
sir.
inside the airport, there should be a better promotion offer to attract the consumers. But if the consuming offer is same inside the airport or outside the airport, consumer will prefer buying it outside the airport. What do you think, Ashish? Because
Yes,
outside the
sir.
airport, they can spend more time. They can buy it conveniently. Now, inside the airport, during the boarding time, only they will be just shopping in there. So students, are you getting the understanding there, that here my major understanding is the sales price needs to be adjusted according to the duty free prices rather than the external retail prices? So any questions there, students, you can ask me. So there is a question mark there. Example, Toblerone is cheaper in the airport. Ferrero Rocher is cheaper in the airport comparatively to the supermarket. So students, can I just mention the first one as sales? Can I just mention the first one as what, students? Sales. And that selling price, I don't like it. And the discount also, I can just connect it. And one more thing, students, that I am also concerned here. One thing they are specially saying is that the annual growth is 50%. Okay, students, they're telling there is a 50% growth in the consumer, but if you observe here, sales is only growing in line with what, students? Sales is only growing with what, students?
Inflation.
inflation. So there is again a mismatch, right, students? Sales is growing with the inflation, not with the demand and supply. So that sales growth also I can explain. And also the retail price is not to the duty free. Are you understanding, Ashish, there? Because duty free, anyway, it should be giving a better offer to the passengers. Are you getting what I'm saying, students? Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. But how can we adjust that sales price in line with duty free?
You can compare other competitors who are selling inside the duty free, and you can adjust the price based on that.
Okay, sir. Means
Because here
benchmarking.
they are correct, here they are benchmarking outside people, but you should go to the inside. So you can observe what are the prices fancy items are sold. If toy bricks are not there, you can find out the fancy items like other things, perfumes, everything, and you may observe there is a differences compared with the outside and inside. Are you getting that understanding? Yes or no?
Yes, sir, I got that.
So students, here you won't take the risk here. It's a very, very challenging paper, students. Very, very challenging paper, very, very practical paper. So I will just mention here the sales. So students, I will finish this first. The sales consist of only demand growth. Only what, students? Sorry,
Demand growth.
only inflation growth.
Inflation growth.
Only inflation growth. Only inflation growth where the demand growth is not considered. The demand growth is not considered. Further, we have we have to identify the demography, the demographic data of the passengers. Demographic data of the passengers. Now, example, demographic data of the passengers. Why this is important is since the decisions to buy brick toys are generally made by whom?
Parents.
Correct, made by parents. Now this is only commercial acumen. Now students, you are just writing, you won't get any marks. Now you get what I'm saying here, Ashish. I'm
Yes,
connecting
sir.
the commercial acumen. Now students, don't become a specialist accountant. You are a manager here. Manager should know the trend plus finance, everything. So be very careful, students. Further, we have to identify the demographic data of the passengers, since the decision to buy brick toys are generally made by whom, students? It's made by the parents. Make sense or doesn't make sense, Ashish? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It completely makes sense. Further, the sales price and the discount, so I am connecting together, okay, are generally taken directly from the external retailers. External retailers. Agree no here, Ashish? Yes or no? Completely
Yes, sir.
external
Completely agreed.
retail, external retailers. Therefore, the price is not commercially feasible with the duty-free sales segment. Duty-free sales segment. The business risk is changing, students. Ashish, just asking you a question. When you go to a cinema theater, popcorn is cheap or expensive?
Expensive.
Okay. Can you argue with them?
No, sir.
You can't argue with them.
No, sir.
Why? The business risk is changing. Agree or not agree? Because
Yes,
if you
sir.
observe in popcorn outside, the market is big. Everyone can buy. Correct? No. But
Yes, sir.
popcorn inside the theater, only the people who come to watch the movie can buy it. So
Yes, sir.
they know how to segment it. Are you getting what I'm saying, students? So
Yes,
can
sir.
I just put that as an example, students? Example, the popcorn inside the cinema theater is expensive since the segment is changing. Agree or not agree? Yes or no? Completely. You need to
Yes, sir.
get the understanding, students. So students, just keep that in mind. That is one area you need to keep. Very, very important. Any questions you have, Ashish, in this, you can ask me before I move into the other explanation of transfer pricing.
No, sir, it's clear.
It's clear, right? So I can
Yes.
further continue. Further, we need to understand the retail outlets. We have 100% control. So we can make the prices depending on the market condition. Depending on what condition? Market conditions. Now you may be Ashish, by any chance you know UP. You may be
Yes,
knowing
sir.
UP, right?
I know
So
UP.
in UP Lucknow airport, the books are very, very cheap. Very, very cheap. Brand new books, branded books. The main
Yes,
reason
sir.
is market condition. Because if you see in UP, people will not spend much for books. What do you think, Ashish? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
if you do opposite, when you go to Kerala or Bangalore, the books are very, very expensive. Because in that market condition, people spend money on books. Are you getting the difference, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
So it's always depending on the market condition, and this one is generally depending on the price. So I can't consider it. So I will say, therefore, it will be better. Therefore, it will be better. It will be better if the marketing department can update the information to the present context in Zland, full stop. Okay, so students, this is an explanation on sales. So that is also done. Now the next thing, what I have to say here, they have given the contribution, that is fine, sales, discount, and then they have given the contribution. So can I ask you one question, Ashish? Now
Yes, sir.
contribution is, what is contribution? Contribution is generally what, Ashish?
So after deducting the cost of sale, we got
Wrong.
the contribution.
No, no. Variable cost is ignored. Thanks, Achudam. Actually, if you see, contribution is sales minus variable cost. Now, here they have only taken discount as the variable cost. So, students, I want to ask you one question. For this discount, is that the only variable cost, students? That is my
No,
only
sir.
question. It's not the
No, sir.
variable cost. So, my question is, then what should they should consider here? What are the other things they can consider here? Wages, electricity, all overheads, Krishna. Very good. Thank you very much, Achudam. Material cost, very good. Cost of the kits. Can you remember, students, we had something called cornstarch packaging. All those things are individual, right? Students, material cost like that. So I can generally say this is a wrong contribution also, because sales and discount, no, sales and variable cost. So discount is a part of variable cost, but you do have other element, right? Cost of manufacturing the toy brick. Yes or no, students? What do you
Yes,
think,
sir.
Ashish?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, students. Admin packaging is administration is a overhead, Krishna. You need to revise. Overheads are indirect cost. I'm saying direct variable cost, direct variable cost. Okay. So students, let's start working. Contribution. So contribution is a different, students. Contribution is completely different. So I'll write down here contribution. So shall we start working here, Ashish? Yes or no? on the
Yes, sir.
contribution? Yes, we can start. So the contribution is the selling price less the what? Less the what? Variable
Variable
cost.
cost.
The calculations only include the discount as variable cost. What do you think here? Yes or no, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
However, we may have other variable costs such as cost of manufacturing and packaging, the the brick toys. What do you think? Yes or no?
Yes,
Which
sir.
needs to be reconsidered, which needs to be reconsidered. So that is one sentence I am just mentioning. Now, students, I think now you have got it. So that is clear. So I want to ask the next one. Rental deposit. When you see rental deposit, what is your major observation? Rental deposit.
Fixed deposit.
No, what is the mistake they have made? Anyone can tell me? Achudam, what do you think rental deposit mistake here?
So they need to show an inflow for the same amount on year 3
Correct.
because they'll pay
Students,
back the.
correct. Because they should pay back, right, students? Because if you observe, deposit money is a security, refundable. So if you see here, students, it's 600. And if you observe here, they are telling and the airport service. So for the first time, so I think they have given anything related, yes, initial deposits and annual rent. So here we need to clarify whether the initial deposit is a refundable deposit or non-refundable deposit. Are you understanding here, Ashish? Yes or no? Now,
Yes, sir.
students, listen,
But sir,
tell me.
sir, but if we are considering the going concern, then I don't think it should be refundable.
No, 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 no. This is an agreement. This is an agreement. Even going concern or not going concern, this agreement states it's a 3-year agreement. We are going to go for a 3-year lease. That means anyway, it's an obligation that this 600 should be returned back at the end of the 3rd year. This is a completely practical knowledge. Students, are you clear with that explanation? There should be a 600 inflow here because it's a deposit. So be very careful, students. That's nothing related to going concern. Anywhere, if you have been living in a rented place, you should definitely know this. You should definitely know this. This is not given in the book, students. This is how the SEMA management case study works out. This is how. Can we ask if yes, that is the question I am telling. That is the question I am telling, Krishna. That skeptical question you need to ask whether it is refundable or not refundable. That is a question of doubt. That's a question of doubt. Legal arrangement, documents, all those things can be asked. Okay, so students, I will write down here the next sentence so that it will be very clear for you all. So I will just mention here rental deposit. So students, be very, very sharp in the examination. So I'll mention here rental deposit. Rental what, students? Deposit. For rental deposit, I will just mention here the rental deposit of Z dollar 600 needs to be further reconsidered whether it is a refundable. What is that? A refundable deposit or partially refundable. Because some are partially refundable, but generally there is a refundable everywhere or partially refundable. And if so, in the final year, there needs to be an inflow. There needs to be what, students? There needs to be an inflow. There needs to be an inflow. Correct. So students, further I can continue. The legal documents of the lease arrangement for 3 years should be submitted. Full stop. So students, this is a major question of doubt. So this is an important point that I have mentioned. Just I'm making it simple. So that is a rental deposit. Now when coming to the rent, students, if you see, okay, before the rent you have fittings. Now Ashish, can you tell me what do you observe when you are seeing fittings? 311.
Fittings means the normal interior designing or constructions like.
That everyone knows. I'm telling in the finance manager perspective for this calculation what you are going to check, like what we are doing. Everyone knows fittings means interior everything, but what are the things the consideration could have been considered? That is my question.
Mm,
No, Ishwar. Achudam, what do you think? Fittings? Correct, Nelly. You can take the WDA, that is the tax allowances, the written down allowances, the tax allowances, you can take it, and scrap value. Now, when you use it for 3 years, will this entire thing get depreciated or you will have scrap at the end? Scrap value will be an inflow, right, students? Yes or no?
yes,
So
sir.
one thing I can say, scrap value is completely ignored, because students just keep in mind, I'll just write down scrap value. Scrap value is ignored. Cap value is what? Scrap value is ignored. Scrap value is ignored. The second thing I can say is the tax allowable depreciation. Sometimes you can claim it. Tax allowable depreciation is also not considered because depreciation is there, students. So depreciation, you can ask for a tax claim, so that is also missed. So thank you very much, Nelly, for that points what you have mentioned. Ashish, are you getting what I'm saying here? Yes or no?
Yes,
This
sir.
is
Yes,
the
sir.
working experience. This is purely not from Kaplan or anything. Now I have shared you all the books also, but I'm telling even with the book knowledge, you can't pass it. You need to know the application very well, students. Okay, I'm coming now. So I'll write down here. So I'll mention here fittings. So students, I will make an assumption on the fitting so that it will become very clear for you all. Line by line, I'm doing. See how this is very easy, students. The fittings has not been considered, for tax tax allowable what? Depreciation, that we say as WDA. WDA is a technical term which is known as
Written
written
down.
down on allowance. Written down allowance. And students, this only in FR, in financial reporting, we have learned in IAS 12, right? IAS 12, we learn this. Can you remember?
Deferred taxation.
Deferred taxation. Because
Yes,
this
sir.
is the difference between what the government and what the accountant does.
Accountant.
So,
Yes, sir.
so that's the WDA. So that is that fine, Ashish? Yes or no? Are you
Yes,
getting that
sir.
understanding? Good.
Yes, sir.
Now further, I will continue here. So the fittings has not been considered for tax allowance. Further, in the final year, the scrap value is also not considered. The scrap value is also not considered. Agree? No? Yes or no? It's not
Yes, sir.
considered. Further, we need some evidence on non-current asset register. We need some evidence on what, students?
Non-current
Non-current
assets.
asset register. Non-current asset register, where we need to understand, the types of fittings we are using. You get what I'm saying here? Because that's an essential element, right? We need to observe what are the types of fittings we are using. Now that is also fine. So fittings also done. Now the next one is what? Rent. Rent is going on how much? 400,
400 every year.
400 every year. Now actually rent is a fixed arrangement. No? Yes or no? Rent
Yes,
is a
sir.
fixed arrangement. But the only thing is, now is this a local currency rent or foreign currency rent?
Foreign currency rent.
So even though this is 400, 400, 400 every year, is this exposed to foreign exchange difference?
Yes, sir. There may
So
be gain or
there
loss
may
every
be
year.
gain or loss because this country is an inflationary country. In an inflationary country, always there will be exchange rate fluctuation. Agree, no, Ashish? Yes,
Yes,
or no?
sir.
Now, if you see Gulf countries, the Arabic countries like Saudi, Kuwait, everything, they don't have inflation. So their rent will be same only. But if you see other nations, when they have inflation, exchange rate will change. So can I write a note regarding to that? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
We can write it. So before that, I'll just read this first assumption also. The shop has 300 square meters of retail space. We assume that the retailers with similar floor areas will make a revenue of 1,000, that is 1,600,000. But actually, we have done that discussion because it's that is different retailers. Because I told you, the popcorn inside the cinema theater, you can't compare with the popcorn inside a shop, right? Yes or no, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
It's completely different pricing strategies. Okay, so students, now I will come down and I will explain this element of rent also. So I can say rent. So students, you observe my writing style today. I'm not at all writing like a student. I'm just writing like a finance manager working in Prybloxx. The rent is fixed. However, the rent is fixed. Okay. However, this is paid in a foreign country. In a foreign country. Therefore, we are exposed to the risk of exchange rate fluctuation, which should be disclosed by the notes, because later you may end up paying more than 400 students because this is not your local country. So that is one thing. Now this point is very, very important. Wages. Now Ashish, can you tell me wages, what do you consider?
Wages depends on again the same factor, foreign currency
No, that is the
or the.
problem with students. You all are duplicating the same points. Please avoid that. Keep your mind open as much as possible. Achudam, what is your understanding? Achudam, you can say anything you like.
So I
Calculations
think,
incorrect. No.
Sir,
yes, sir.
Yes, Achudam.
So because we are having 6 employees, right? And they're operating in 2 shifts. So won't
Okay.
there be like 3 employees in each shift?
Okay, but what is the flow area?
300 square meters.
For 300 square meters, 6 people, too much or not too much?
Yes, sir.
Too much, right? So
Yes,
are we
sir.
overstuffed?
Yeah, we are.
We are overstuffed. So no one observed that 300 square meter is not a big area. So it's not square feet, it's square meters. So it's just a normal size, and 6 staffs is too much. I can say we can downsize it to 4 or 3. What do you think, Achudam? Yes or no? 4 or 3. One cashier, okay, and then 3 sales people. What do you think, Achudam? There
Yes,
can be
sir.
one cashier, because toys packaging is very easy. You just put it into the bag, not like Lulu big things. So it's easy. But I can say 3 people will be fine. And now my question here, that was 1 point. Overstaff is 1 point. Any other point, Achudam, you can feel here?
So according to the time, we are paying more.
No.
So the majority of the flights, we need to look at what time the flights are departing and arriving, and
Okay.
change the timing of the stall to that, rather than
Good.
just opening at a fixed
Good.
time and closing at a fixed time.
Very close answer. Very close answer. But the thing is, actually, Achudam, if you see an airport, it will be operating for how many hours?
24 hours.
24 hours. And if you see in the duty free also, generally everyone will be working 24 hours. Agree, no, Achudam? So
Yes,
instead
sir.
of going for 10 to 6, which is the retail business model, 10 to 6 is a retail business model, no, Achudam, the outside people. So here it
Yes,
should
sir.
be 24/7. But the thing
Okay.
is, you need to have how many shifts? Not 2 shifts. It should be 3 shifts. That is the morning shift, evening shift, and the night shift. Morning shift, evening
Okay.
shift, and the night shift. So that is a consideration commercially you should think in the point of an airport. Are you understanding, students? Now, that is the differentiation point where you score lot of marks. And this thought process should be working in the exam day. Okay. So students, I can just write down here wages. So I'll write down here wages. Now, the wages I can generally say is the staffs are more to the flow area. We can consider downsizing them. Downsizing the staffs where we can pay them per shift, and for each shift we can employ 4 staffs. For each shift we can employ how many staffs? 4 staffs. Further, since the airport operates 24 hours, we need to consider the shifts to 3, where we can have morning, evening, and night. Now, one thing, students, some airport will have rules also. They may say that they should have these rules. And further, we need to adhere to airport we need to adhere to airport rules and regulations, because students, airport rules and regulations also is important for the staffs. Rules and regulation, and we need to train them. So students, that is the basic consideration of wages here. And my only concern here is, students, is wages inflated or not inflated?
It's
Achyutam?
not inflated.
Not inflated, right? So frankly speaking, students, wages must be inflated. Agree or not agree? Yes or no? Because generally employees also has cost of, right? So they need to get inflated. So I can say the wages needs to be inflated too. The wages needs to be inflated too. The wages needs to be inflated too. Annual hikes, correct? So that is also done. Now I think this is done. Now if you observe here, net cash flow they have given, and the discounting factor, can someone say me what should be the discount rate here? intelligent enough, you can say the discount rate 9%. Thank you. 9% is the discount rate. How did you get 9%? You must know how to get it. There is a formula for that. Just remember that 1 over 1 plus r to the power n. So I'll write down here 1, sorry, discounting, discount. So I'll just 9%. So I think you know that. Okay, so students, if you see here, discount rates are at 9% and discounting cash flows are also given. So my question, discount rate, I can further explain it in the part B. Are you understanding what I'm saying here? Because the WACC rate is 9%, which they have used the normal WACC rate, which is they are saying that the existing projects, they are using that WACC rate. But my question here that we can do it for the part B, the last assumption is NPV positive. So let's proceed. So that is the last assumption. So here it's a positive NPV of 287. Now my question to Ashish, do you need to proceed to this project?
After analyzing, we should not proceed.
Not proceed immediately, right? We can't make
Yes.
a decision now itself because we need more and more information and research to make the decision. Correct, no, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
So students, this is a job of a finance manager. Now, today I never taught you a theory. I taught you a skill, the job, what you will be doing in future. Or we have been doing this at the offices also nowadays. But please remember, students, this is essential. This is very, 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 very essential. Very, 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 very essential. So can I just come to the last one? Conclusion. Can I make a conclusion, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to ask one question, Ashish. Is this an audited project appraisal or non-audited project appraisal?
Non-audited.
So reliability is there or not there? I'm not saying the
Sir,
marketing
not there.
not there. I'm not blaming the
Not there.
marketing department is not reliable. You should be very much careful when using the verbs because they will misunderstand. You need to say it's better to have a audit conducted by an independent party so that the fair representation will be more transparent. Are you clear with what I'm saying here, Ashish? Yes or no?
Yes,
That
sir.
doesn't mean that there is a problem there. So students, that is a final point. So in the conclusion, I can say making investment decision purely on positive NPV is not a suggested approach. It's not a suggested approach. It's not a suggested approach. Since we need to consider other factors such as, Achyutam, can you tell me some other factors such as? Achyutam,
Yes, sir.
what are the other factors you need to consider?
Other factors that not sure, sir.
Ashish,
Post-completion audit.
no. Environmental factors, no. Krishna, what are the other factors you think we can consider? Students, communicate as much as possible, students. This is an examination. We learn through communication here. Ishwar, what do you think the other factors? Because you would have observed my answer is completely taxation in Zedland, no. Guaranteed future outflow, no. No, Mervin, wrong answer. Government regulation, no. Relevant costs, no. Omissions that will make NPV, no. Sensitivity analysis, no. Students, commercial thinking is poor. Ashish, I will give you last opportunity.
No idea, sir.
Okay, I will tell you the next election you need to think about.
Political factor.
For political stability, the next election. Because You need to check whether this party will this survive for another 2-3 years. You understand what I'm saying there, Ashish? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is that a practical or not practical
Yes,
consideration?
it's a practical consideration.
Then why no one is saying that, students? Now, I'm telling students, in order to do this, Ashish, can I ask you one question? Do you need
Yes, sir.
Kaplan knowledge to do this question?
No,
No,
we not need
no,
knowledge.
knowledge at all. Not at all, students. I'm not
Not at all.
using as knowledge at all, and I am scoring full of marks, and I'm doing it in an interesting, like an English exam paper. I'm doing this. So I
So we are concentrating more on that concepts only. Our
correct.
mind is going on there only. What is written in Kaplan? What is written in Kaplan? We have to apply that only.
But the,
Our mind
but
is thinking on that way only.
but that's wrong, Ashish, because if you check the examiner's report, they are making you think about the reality. Now, operational case study students, yes, you need to memorize the book as much as possible. Here, you are not a finance officer. Your role is changing into a manager. You are understanding, right? So I can say
Yes,
such
sir.
as political stability in Zedland. Political stability in what? Zedland. Now, can I
Exactly.
ask you one question? Are you aware, Ashish, that in America the capital that is their, I think their capital was I think sieged by the Republican supporters, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. Protest
Is
was done.
that
Yes,
is
sir.
that not good for new business? What do you think, Ashish? If the who is the president is a confusing element, means do you think businesses will invest money or keep it on
No, they
hold?
will not invest.
They will not invest, right? They will keep it on hold. The success of China is political stability. What do you think,
Yes,
Ashish?
sir. It's a
Because China,
success.
whatever said and done, Chinese political regime is very much stable, and that
Bureaucratic,
is
sir.
the reason they are able to improve their GDP very, very stronger. Are you understanding, students, what I'm saying? Such as
Yes, sir.
political stability in Zedland. Therefore, the analysis of the next election results should be considered, because this is an airport. It should be considered. You won't believe me, Ashish. In Sri Lanka, there is a airport in Hambantota. They say, okay, what happened when the last government came? They closed that airport. They closed it. They closed that airport. Just imagine someone has put money to start a shop in that airport duty free. It's closed down. Waste of money, right? You get what I'm saying, Ashish. And
Yes, sir. I
the
got
current
that.
government has opened this airport, but still no one has started any duty-free outlet, because still they need the stability. Therefore, the analysis of the next election result should be forecasted. Should be forecasted. This is extremely important. And students indirectly, why did they close no aeroplanes? Should be forecasted. So, students, are you understanding what I'm saying here? So, this is one major political factor we need to consider, which is essential. And the next thing, Ashish, can we continue? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. We can continue, sir.
So, any other factors that we can say here? One is the next political factor we need to consider. Another one is logistic charges. We need to consider logistic charges also. Yes or no?
Yes,
Duties,
sir.
everything. Yes or no? Because now, example, earlier you sell it to the retailers. So, retailers only pay the duty, right? Yes or no? The buyer only will pay the duty. Importer will pay the duty. Agree, no, Ashish? Now,
Yes, sir.
example, here now what's going to happen is the custom charges also must come. So I can say custom duty can be considered. Custom duty can be considered. Custom duty can be considered. Can be considered. Therefore, it is recommended. It is recommended. It is recommended. It is recommended to have. It is recommended to have. Recommend to have an independent audit. An independent audit for this analysis. Full stop. Now, this is the full answer, students, for this, but I wrote a long answer. This Saturday class, I am utilizing more time so that you will get understanding on how to do this. If it's a morning time, you can study very, very well. So before I move into the VAC explanation, students, I have successfully completed this one, a full answer I have written. I have written a lot of answer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 I have written. So if 5 is more than enough, but 9 I have written. So any questions, Ashish, you have on the first one?
No, sir, it's clear.
It's clear, no? And Ashish,
Yes,
you
sir.
must do corrections. You must make notes today itself where you are making mistake, what happened. You understand, students. Ashish is our representative. So Ashish, like a journal writing, you know, right? You like a diary you maintain. You get what I'm saying, no, Ashish?
Yes, sir, I got that.
You all need to make the notes, students, because we are distance learning. So I will initially talk to all the students. Any doubts you have, you can ask me. Achudam, any questions you have on the first one?
No, sir.
Clear, right? Delhi, any questions? Nelly, any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. And Ishwar, any question? Krishna, any questions? Vishnu, any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Manogaran, any questions? Thank you. So Niven Singh, any questions you have, you can ask me.
No, sir.
Kin Ming, any question, Kin Min? Okay, wonderful. So students, again, I am telling you today, before you do the mock 4, you must do a correction of this mock. Okay, do a correction and start doing the mock 4. So Ashish, can we start working on the suitability of the VAC?
Yes, sir, we can.
Now, VAC means, students, I will do a VAC class separately before I do it. VAC means what is the average return the business is expecting. Now, if you observe, risk and reward is there, no? Risk and reward theory. When the
Yes,
risk
sir.
increases, the reward also will increase. Yes or no? When the
Yes,
risk
sir.
increases, the reward. So the reward is only the discounting factor, the return on investment, the return on capital employed, like that. Now, if you observe here, Ashish, my question to you, observe this carefully. Now, currently, Prybloxx is what business? What are we in? Toy
Constructing bricks.
manufacturing. Toy
Yes.
manufacturing only. But do we have retail outlet?
No, it's our first retail outlet.
So business risk is changing or not changing?
Yes, sir, changing.
It's changing. So can we use the current WACC? No.
Not
Risk
probably,
is
sir.
not
Risk
probably.
is there.
Risk
Yes.
has changed. So it may change. Correct? No. Just look
Yes,
at the
sir.
risk. And now, if you see here, the financial capital, the investment we need here is 911. 911 is the investment we need. Correct? No, the net cash outflow. First year, the initial investment, you get 600
Yes, sir.
plus 300. Now, my question to you, Ashish, do we need to pay from our capital structure, debt or equity? So it depends, right? We have not made a decision whether we are going to use the existing capital structure or a new capital structure. Agree? No? We are going to
Yes, sir,
borrow that
agreed.
money, or we are going to issue shares and do it. Existing retained earnings, we don't know. So I am saying here is the current WACC is not suitable. First thing, it's a new business operation and it's on an airport also. So completely the segmentation also varies. Agree? No, Ashish?
Yes,
Example,
sir.
now can you remember I told you the popcorn strategy? The popcorn is a product which is similar everywhere. But if you go to a theater, the popcorn is extremely priced. Agree? No, Ashish? But
Yes, sir,
you can't
agreed.
blame that. You can't blame that because that's a business ecosystem they have developed inside it. So can we start working on that, Ashish? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So students, now I was telling everyone, now Krishna, now I'm coming for your doubts. Now technical, I am saying don't write too much is you are not scoring marks because this question, they are not emphasizing on theory. They are asking you as a manager what you are going to do. You need to know a little bit theory, but you did not spend a lot of time on theory. So Ashish, just to make you satisfied, can I just write one sentence in theory and finish the theory part out so that it will be satisfaction? Agree? No, Ashish?
Yes, sir. Agreed.
So WACC is generally the average return expected from the shareholders and the lenders for the finance they have provided. That's fine, no, Ashish? Yes or no? That's purely clear for you, no? What they
Yes, sir.
expect. This may vary depending on the risk and the capital structure of the new project. The risk and the capital structure of the new project. Is that fine, Ashish? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Very clear. So I can say for Prybloxx, the retail store is a new business venture. New business venture. Agree, no, Ashish? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Therefore, we can understand that the company will need to update the WACC depending on the risk and reward. And since the operations are at the airport, at where? At airport, it means that the company should be able to update the WACC to the risk in the Zedland region. What region? Zedland region. You get the specification right here. Yes or no? Because if you observe, our one is a veranda. Agree? No? Now we need to quickly update that to the Zedland region. Is that fine, Ashish? Yes or no?
Sir, confused, sir. Why we wrote updating the WAC
Because
in?
the new business, right? It's a new business venture. So you can't use the existing. You need to update the WACC. Update
But
the WACC.
sir, suitability of the WAC is here in this case. You told no that suitability of WAC is not correct.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Need to update it. So you
Okay,
can't
okay,
use
I
it.
got that. Okay, I
It's
got that.
not suited. That's what you need to update it. You get
Okay,
what I'm saying
existing
now?
one is not suited, so that we
Correct.
need to update. Okay, I
Update it.
got
That
that.
the
Okay,
company
okay,
will
okay.
need to update the WACC. Are you clear with that? So it
Yes, sir.
is
Yes, sir.
not suitable. It is not suitable. But why I am saying updated means I am not hurting the marketing department. You get what I'm saying here, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
Now, example, Ashish, when you start working, you will be working with different people from different age categories. Some people will be sensitive when you use the term. You may say something in your meaning, it will different for you, but they will understand differently. No, Ashish, you get what I'm saying?
Yes,
Because
sir. I got it.
I'm not saying them they are wrong, so that's how I am communicating to them. So it can be measured suitable or not suitable, but we need to have good answer backing it. Correct. But never ever hurt the listener. Think in the literature point of view. Never ever hurt the person who has done it. That's a UK code of ethics. We should never hurt the other person. So that is one more thing. Even if he has done a mistake, we should correct his mistake in a kind manner. Okay, so alternative consideration. So can we start working with the alternative consideration? Yes or no, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
So is the capital structure not changing? It's a question of doubt. It's a question of doubt. So can I write down? So I can say the alternative consideration can be a new WACC developed based on the capital structure that is used in the project, capital structure that is used in the project, and the benchmarking information. What information? Benchmarking
Benchmarking.
information that is used in benchmarking information that is used in the capital structure that is used in the project, and the benchmarking information that is used in the Zland market for the risk, such as credit rating. What rating? Credit rating. Because
Credit rating.
credit rating, every country has their own credit rating. Agree or not agree, Ashish? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So credit rating will definitely affect it. So credit rating. Therefore, a risk adjusted WACC can be used. Risk adjusted WACC can be used. Are you clear with this? Yes or no, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
Now, students, the word count is 1040. I think it is impossible for you all to go for 1040. Correct? No, Ashish? Yes or no? It's anyway
Yes, sir.
impossible. Without with 45 minutes, it's not possible. But I just want to make it clear, students. This is how this is done. This is how this section is done. So, any questions, Ashish? You can ask me.
Yes, sir. Well, sir, while writing the answer, actually, in the part one section, means the requirement one section, it takes me almost 35 minutes, and I'm just concentrating the 10 minutes for requirement number two. So, can you tell me how
How to
to
do it?
manage the time?
Heading is essential. While you are reading the question itself, you should develop the heading. You get what I'm saying? While you are
Yes,
reading
sir.
the question itself, you construct the heading. I'm using the term construction. Construction. Just think like building blocks. The basement is the heading. Okay, Ashish. So
Yes, sir.
complete that. And as soon as you complete that, then you start applying all the reference material into the question. Are you clear with what I'm saying there, Ashish? But if
Yes, sir.
you just reread it, it will not work out. And my suggestion, Ashish, read slowly, but I always recommend you should have a good typing skill. And I say you need to use at least your all the 10 fingers to type, Ashish, because I generally use my 10 fingers to type, because that is one skill you need to improve. Because I feel computer based examinations are more user friendly than the paper based examination, because handwriting issue is not there, speed is fast, provided you are used to that. Fine with that, Ashish?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Any questions, Ashish?
No, sir.
Okay, so again I will come to the other students. Achudam, any questions you have?
No, sir.
Thank you. Delhi, any questions you have?
No questions, sir. Thank you.
Achudam, Ishwar, any questions you have? Kin, any questions? Krishna? Mervin? Nelly? Vishnu?
No,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. Nevin also, you can say Nevin also. Okay. So thank you, students. So, sir, there is a plan to do a VAC class. No, I'm going to do the VAC now itself and finish it off. So it won't be a problem. So I'm going to explain the VAC, students. So Ashish, can we start revising VAC now?
Yes, sir.
So students, now see the problem here is, I'll write down here VAC. VAC means what, Ashish?
So,
Weighted
average cost of capital.
average cost of capital.
So, but where you are writing,
You
we
can't
cannot see the screen.
1 minute. Do you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
WACC, weighted average cost of capital. So Ashish, before I move into the weighted average cost of capital, I will just explain the concept very, very easy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the basic accounting equation, Ashish? Asset equals equity
Yes.
plus
Debt.
liability. That is whatever the money that is given by the loan providers.
Loan
Third
providers.
party. Now let's assume the asset of this company is 1,000. Okay.
Yes.
600 is contributed by the owners and 400 is contributed by the lenders.
Liability and lenders.
Any questions here?
No, sir.
Okay. Now I will ask you a question. Now I will update this into financial management. So value of firm, we say. We don't say total assets. We say assets is known as value of the firm equals equity capital. What capital?
Equity capital.
Plus debt capital. Equity capital plus debt capital. Now the value of the firm is 1,000. So the equity capital is 600 and the debt capital is how much?
400.
Are you clear with this, Ashish? Yes, or no?
Yes, sir.
Capital is 600. So do you observe these two are giving the same answer at the end? Yes, or no?
Yes, sir.
Only the terms are changing. So now let's think in the value of firm. Now, if you observe here, Ashish, now if you observe value of firm, once again I am writing, is equity capital, and the other one is debt capital.
Debt
Equity
capital.
capital and debt capital. This is very simple. Now, Ashish, now let's assume the equity capital, that means the shareholders of this organization, they may have a return. They expect a return in the form of what?
Dividends.
Dividend. They will ask something called dividend, and the dividend has something called growth. But
Growth.
if you
Capital
see
growth.
capital growth, because company growing, dividend also will grow. But
Dividend. Oh,
the
yes.
debt capital, they will always ask a fixed
Interest.
return of interest. So students, if you observe dividend plus interest, total we say as cost of capital.
Cost of capital.
Cost of capital.
Capital.
So whatever the capital you invest, whatever the return you are paying is cost of capital. So Ashish, if you don't mind, can you just jot this down in the notebook so that your retention will be far better.
Yes, sir.
Other students, after jotting this down in the notebook, you can put Y in the chat box and then I will continue with the explanation.
Noted, sir.
Thank you. So Ashish, now what I will do is I will make it mathematical. So we are using this 1,600 as an example for the base. So let's assume the dividend is 10% and the interest is 5%. Dividend is 10%, interest is how much?
5%.
Now, if you observe, how much did the shareholders contribute? 600, correct? So 600 into 10%, okay, that is the dividend amount. Agree, no? Because
Yes,
the
sir.
equity capital is 600. And how much did the interest or the debt providers contribute? They contributed only 400. Agree, no? So
Yes, sir.
that into 5%. So if you observe that working, what I can say effectively, Achyutam, is it's going to give here as 60 and this one is going to be 20. Agree, no? Because
Yes, sir.
so if you observe the differences or the total of this is how much, how much, Ashish? It's 80.
80.
60 plus 20 is 80. Now I will teach you how the WACC is done. WACC is very easy. Now cost of capital is how much? 80. Correct?
80. 80.
How much is the total investment?
1,000.
Into 100%, or it will give you how much? 8. Agree?
8%.
So
Yes, sir.
ultimately, if you observe, what is the WACC here? 8%.
8%.
So this company is effectively paying 8% to the equity providers and the debt providers. Are you understanding? On average, it's 8, because if you see 10 and 5, in between 10 and 5, the average falls, right? Yes or no? In between 10 and 5, the average
Yes,
falls.
sir.
Get what I'm saying? So now, are you clear with what is WACC? That means the return what you pay to both the shareholders and lenders. Both the shareholders and whom? Lenders. Is that
Lenders.
fine with that, Ashish? Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Now, Ashish,
Clear,
I'll
sir.
come to the next question. Now I'll come to the application. So can I write down with a different color pen? Application. So
Yes, sir.
application. So how this gets affected? One is capital structure. Now let's assume Ashish, capital structure means 600, 400, 60 by 4, 6 is to 4. You get what I'm saying? 6 by 4, 6 is to 4, capital structure. Clear? No? 6 is to
Yes,
4.
sir.
Now, if you observe here, just be careful. Can the equity go up? Yes, agree.
Yes.
When the equity goes up, will the dividend get affected? Yes or no? Of course.
Yes, sir.
So will this also get affected? Yes, agree. No?
Yes.
So one is capital structure. Capital structure change will affect the WACC. Capital structure change will affect. Agree? No? Are you clear with that capital structure change? Makes
Yes,
sense.
sir.
And the other one is the risk. What is that? Risk.
Risk.
Now, example, if you go for a risk where business is new area, new product, okay, new product, new segment, so many things new, ultimately what will happen? The risk will change. Agree? No? When the business risk is changing, shareholders will demand for more percentage in dividend. What do you think, Ashish?
Yes, sir.
And the bank also, when the risk is going up, what they will say? Give us more interest. Risk. Agree or not agree? Yes or no?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is the basic application of weighted average cost of capital. Are you having any questions here?
No, sir. Clear.
Very clear, right? Very clear,
Yes,
right?
sir. Hmm.
So students, any questions you can ask me, but can you please take this down? Thanks, Krishna. Other students, you can put Y in the chat box after you have taken it down. Any questions you have, please let me know.
Noted, sir.
Thanks, Ashish. Thank you everyone. Thank you everyone, students. Thank you very much. So what we can do, tomorrow you must complete the mock by the given time, 6 p.m. Do you have these kinds of...
What? This guy.
So students, tomorrow what we will do is we will continue with your mocks, and you don't have class on tomorrow and the Monday. Monday you can use to learn a lot of new concepts, and then students on Tuesday evening we will start it. Tomorrow by 6 p.m. you should submit the mock papers. So good luck, students. Do the mocks a little bit open-minded like a finance manager. Are you understanding, Ashish? Don't make
Yes,
the
sir.
mistakes what you are doing now, and please read the answers of your friends, how they are scoring marks, what have you made mistakes, so you will get the improvement. So students, I will meet you on the next week class on Tuesday, and a kind request, better have a mic system with you all so that we can make the class more involving. So thank you very much, Ashish, for moderating the class.
Thank you,
So
sir.
good afternoon, everyone. See you on Tuesday. Y'all can leave the class.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Vishnu.